mocked for his wooden staff, until it defeated a dragon's unbreakable scales. The twin suns of Alaris burned low in the sky, painting the mining valley in orange dust and fading gold. Workers ended their long day, their metal tools clanging against rock as laughter echoed through the canyon. Among them walked a man who never laughed. Aaron, the human with the wooden staff. He was not strong like the others, not armed with plasma blades or shock rifles. His hands were rough from mining, but his weapon was smooth. Old wood polished by years of touch. To many, it looked like nothing. A useless stick in a world of machines and war. "Hey, Aaron!" a miner shouted, grinning. "Did your magic stick fix your bad luck yet?" The others laughed loud and cruel. Aaron smiled faintly but said nothing. He only tightened his grip around the staff and kept walking. Every day was the same. The people of Alaris Colony were proud warriors, born under the rule of the Drakkar Empire. Their loyalty was measured in strength, not kindness, and to them Aaron was weak and no relic of Earth, a race long forgotten when the night came. Aaron sat near the edge of the valley, staring at the distant mountains that glowed faintly under the twin moons. He pressed his hand on the staff, feeling a pulse beneath the wood. It wasn't his heartbeat, it was something else. Something alive. He had found the staff 10 years ago, buried in an old ruin on the edge of the wasteland. Its carvings were strange, swirling like vines that never ended. When he first touched it, it had burned him. Yet he never let it go since then. It whispered to him in dreams. Voices he could never understand but somehow felt safe with. The people said he was cursed, maybe he was. But loneliness had become his only companion. That night the sky tore open with a sound like thunder. A red streak of light fell from orbit, shaking the valley. The ground cracked, and a deep tremor ran through the earth. Aaron stumbled to his feet. Gripping his staff, dust filled the air, and the miners screamed, running toward the colony shelters. Above, a dark shape descended. A ship, black and burning. The mark of the Drakkar Empire glowed on its hull, the symbol of conquest and fear. Aaron's blood turned cold. From the ship emerged soldiers in armor made of shining obsidian. Their helmets had long silver fangs and glowing eyes. They spread out like a swarm, rounding up villagers, shouting in their alien tongue. By order of the Empire, the commander roared through a translator unit. This colony owes tribute, gold, iron, and blood. No one dared to resist, not until the soldiers began striking the old and the weak. A small boy cried as his mother was dragged away. Aaron's heart pounded. He could not move. Fear rooted him to the ground. Then a soldier kicked the boy, and the cry turned into silence. Something inside Aaron broke. He stepped forward, his staff trembling in his hands. "Stop," he said, his voice small but clear. The soldiers turned and laughed. "Look at him," one said. "The man with a stick thinks he's a hero," the commander grinned behind his mask. "Kill him," the soldier raised his rifle. But before the shot came, the staff pulsed with light, a faint blue shimmer running through its carvings. The ground beneath Aaron cracked again, but this time it wasn't from the ship. A low hum filled the air, deep and rhythmic, like the heartbeat of the planet. The soldiers froze. The hum turned into a whisper, not in words, but in feeling. The staff began to glow brighter. "It's runes burning through the darkness. What is that?" a soldier muttered. Stepping back, Aaron's hand shook as he raised the staff. He didn't know why he did it, maybe instinct, maybe something older. He slammed it against the ground, and light exploded outward. The blast threw the nearest soldiers backward. Their armor cracked, sparks flying. The commander shouted for fire, but every shot missed, bending away from Aaron as if the air itself shielded him. The villagers gasped, staring. The man they had mocked for years now stood surrounded by a halo of blue light. Dust swirled around him, glowing like fireflies. When the light faded, the staff no longer looked ordinary. The wood had changed, now darker, marked with glowing veins of energy pulsing like blood. Aaron's knees trembled, his body burned with exhaustion. He had no idea what had just happened. The soldiers hesitated, unsure if they were facing a man or something else. The commander snarled, raising his arm. "End him now." But before they could fire, the ground roared again, much louder this time. Cracks split open across the valley, and from deep below came a sound, a growl so ancient it made every heart freeze. The mountain beyond the colony shuddered. Massive boulders rolled down its side. The soldiers looked up, weapons trembling. A second roar followed, and a gust of heat swept across the land. Aaron staggered, his eyes wide. For centuries, The people had whispered of a beast that slept beneath Alaris, a dragon whose scales no blade could cut, a monster from the age before the stars. No one believed it until now. The staff in Aaron's hand burned brighter, the same blue light flickering deep within the cracks of the mountain. The whispers in his mind returned louder than ever. One voice rose above them all. "Old, deep, and full of power, keeper," it said. Aaron gasped, his breath caught between fear and awe. The commander shouted again, but no one moved. The ground split wide, and a rush of molten air burst from below. Through fire and smoke, a shadow rose, wings vast as the horizon, scales shining like gold and black glass, eyes like suns burning with fury. And in that moment, as the dragon's gaze fell upon Aaron, the laughter of his tormentors vanished forever. The man they once mocked for carrying a stick was now the only one standing before a god. The staff pulsed once more, and the dragon's voice echoed in his mind. Not as a threat, but as a greeting. "I have waited long for you." The dragon hovered above the village, its massive wings sending gusts of wind that shook the very earth. As the beast's fiery eyes locked onto Aaron, time seemed to slow. The ground trembled beneath him, and the air grew thick with anticipation. Aaron couldn't move, couldn't breathe, his mind spinning with confusion and fear. The soldiers around him had fallen silent, their weapons lowering in disbelief. The commander, still in his armor, took a step forward, his voice strained. "What is this sorcery?" Aaron could barely hear him over the roar of the dragon's wings. His heart beat wildly in his chest. The light from the staff in his hand seemed to pulse with a life of its own, shining through the cracks in the earth, casting shadows that stretched long and dark across the valley. He looked at the staff, its ancient carvings now glowing brighter as if alive. The voice from earlier echoed in his mind again. "Keeper, what is that voice?" Aaron whispered, his voice barely audible. The dragon's massive eyes blinked, and the voice responded, "It is me. I have waited for you, Keeper." Aaron's breath caught in his throat. "What do you mean? I don't understand." The dragon shifted its weight, lowering its head until its fiery eyes were level with Aaron's. Its voice thundered in his mind. "You are the last of the keepers, the ones chosen to wield the ancient staffs, to protect the bond between the dragons and the humans. You carry within you the legacy of a forgotten time." Aaron staggered back, almost dropping the staff. His mind raced, trying to make sense of what was happening. A keeper? He was just a miner, a simple man who had never asked for any of this. The dragon's gaze softened, the fire in its eyes dimming. Long ago, the keepers and the dragons fought together, bound by the staffs of power. When the war ended, the keepers vanished. Their bloodline lost to history, but the staffs remained, and so did the bond. The one who finds the staff will awaken the power of the ancients, and they will protect this world from the darkness that threatens it. Aaron's mind spun with the implications of the dragon's words. Could it be true? Was he really chosen for something so grand? But why? Why him? He was no hero, just a man with a wooden stick. Before he could speak, the ground shook again. Much stronger this time, the dragon's wings flared, sending a shockwave through the valley. The soldiers scrambled, some falling to the ground in panic. The commander screamed, "Retreat! Get back to the ship, now!" But the dragon did not move. It was focused solely on Aaron. Aaron's heart pounded in his chest, but he could not look away from the dragon. He felt a strange connection to it, a bond that was impossible to ignore, like the staff in his hands was calling out to the beast. The voice of the dragon was once again in his mind. "The staff has awakened you because you are the one who can restore balance. The Drakkar Empire's rise threatens all life, and the staff will guide you to stop them. But beware, the darkness is already searching for you. The power you hold will draw enemies from beyond the stars." The words sent a chill down Aaron's spine. He looked at the staff, which had become a beacon of light in the darkness. The wood, once so plain, now glowed with vibrant energy, and it felt heavy in his hands, as if the weight of the universe was resting on it. Suddenly a voice broke through Aaron's thoughts. It was the commander again. "Fire! Open fire!" The soldiers, regaining their composure, raised their rifles and aimed directly at Aaron. Their weapons crackled with energy. But before they could fire, the dragon roared, a sound so fierce it shattered the air itself. The soldiers froze, their weapons lowering. The dragon lifted its head high and its wings spread wide, sending another gust of wind toward the soldiers. With a force like nothing Aaron had ever felt, the soldiers were knocked back. Their armor cracking under the pressure, Aaron took a step forward, his hands trembling as he gripped the staff tighter. The dragon's gaze shifted to him again, its voice calm now. "You must stand strong, Keeper. You are not alone." For a moment, Aaron felt a wave of comfort wash over him. The dragon's presence was overwhelming, but in a way it felt like home. Something deep inside him stirring. Awakening, he turned to the soldiers, who had now fallen back, their faces pale with fear, and their weapons raised again. The commander's voice was steady but desperate. "You cannot protect them forever. The Empire will destroy you." Aaron's grip tightened on the staff, his heart raced, but something else burned inside him, determination, a fire he had never felt before. "I will not let you harm anyone," he said. His voice louder now as he spoke, the staff began to glow brighter. The symbols etched into the wood, pulsing with a strange energy. The air around him crackled with power, and the ground shook once again. This time it wasn't from the dragon. It was from the power building within the staff. Aaron felt the staff's energy surge through him, his entire body tingling with a force he couldn't understand. The voice of the dragon echoed in his mind. "Let go, Keeper, and let the power guide you." For a split second, Aaron hesitated, then something inside him snapped. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and raised the staff high above his head. As he did, the ground beneath him split wide open, a massive crack appearing from the valley floor. The soldiers stepped back in fear, but it was too late. The staff unleashed a blast of energy, a brilliant beam of light that struck the sky. The force sent shockwaves through the valley, and everything went silent. When the dust settled, Aaron stood tall, the staff glowing brighter than ever. The dragon hovered above, its wings still, watching him with a look of approval. The commander, now standing at a distance, could only stare in horror. "What? What have you done?" he whispered. Aaron didn't answer. He knew the answer already. The staff had chosen him for a reason, and now, the battle for the galaxy had truly begun. The valley was still, too still. The dust from the explosion of light hung in the air, shimmering with a soft glow. The soldiers lay scattered across the ground, some unconscious, others too stunned to move, their weapons discarded. The once mighty Drakkar forces had been thrown into disarray, their superior technology unable to withstand the ancient power that flowed through the staff in Iran's hands. For a long moment, Aaron stood in the center of it all, the staff still glowing in his grip. His body was trembling, not from fear, but from the sheer force of the energy he had just unleashed. He had never felt anything like it before, and yet it felt right, as if this power was meant for him. But that thought brought little comfort. The staff's weight was heavy now, not only physically but emotionally. Aaron's gaze shifted to the dragon, who hovered just above the valley, its great wings beating slowly, the air around it shimmering with heat. Its fiery eyes locked onto Aaron, and once again that strange, deep voice echoed in his mind. "You are more than you believe, Keeper, but now your true test begins," the dragon said, its voice calm yet filled with an ancient sorrow. Aaron felt his heart race. He had barely grasped the power that had awakened within him. And now, the dragon was telling him that something more awaited, something even greater. He opened his mouth to speak, but the words caught in his throat. There was so much to ask, so much to understand, but the dragon was already guiding him, pulling him into a new reality. The ground beneath Aaron cracked again, but this time it wasn't from his own power. The earth trembled as the dragon's wings flared once more, lifting it higher into the sky. Its eyes burned brighter than the suns above. "Follow me, Keeper," the dragon commanded, and with that it shot into the sky, leaving a trail of fire in its wake. Aaron didn't hesitate. He sprinted forward, his feet carrying him across the broken ground. The villagers who had once mocked him now stared in awe, some with fear, others with hope. They had seen the power he wielded, but they could not yet understand it. As Aaron ran toward the dragon, the staff in his hands pulsed once again. He could feel it resonating with something deep inside the earth, as if it was calling to the very core of the planet. The dragon's flight was effortless. It cut through the air like a shadow. The wind roaring in its wake, Aaron followed, his heart pounding as the mountain loomed ahead, the same mountain where the dragon had first awakened. When he reached the foot of the mountain, the earth gave one final shudder, a deep, rumbling growl echoing from within. Aaron skidded to a stop. The ground beneath him cracked wide open, revealing a dark cavern stretching deep below. The dragon circled above, its fiery eyes fixed on the opening. This is where your journey begins, Keeper, the dragon's voice boomed. Inside you will find the answers you seek. But beware, the darkness is stirring. Aaron felt the weight of the dragon's words. He looked down at the dark abyss before him. The swirling darkness seemed to pulse with a life of its own. What was down there? He gripped the staff tighter, its wood smooth and cool against his skin. The power inside him was growing, but so was the fear. He had been an ordinary man, a simple miner, and now he was the keeper of an ancient power, the only one who could stand against the Drakkar Empire and whatever else lay ahead. Before he could take another step, a shadow moved across the cavern's entrance. Something large and dangerous slithered from the darkness. Aaron's breath caught and his heart skipped a beat. Out of the shadows emerged something huge, its form too massive to be anything natural. It was a creature that seemed to be made of shadows, its body constantly shifting, flickering in and out of existence. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural red, and its claws scraped against the earth with a chilling sound. The dragon above roared in fury. It is a creature of the void, a harbinger of the darkness that seeks to consume this world, the creature hissed, its voice like 1,000 whispers combined. The keeper is here, it said. We have been waiting, just as you have. Aaron's breath quickened as the creature advanced, its body rippling with dark energy. He could feel its presence, an unnatural cold that chilled him to his core. The dragon circled above, its wings beating furiously. But it did not come closer. You must face it alone. Keeper, the dragon's voice rang in his mind. The darkness cannot be fought by me alone. Only you can banish it. The creature snarled. You will fall, human. Just as all before you have fallen, Aaron stepped back. His mind racing, he had never fought anything like this before. How could he face this monstrous force? His hand gripped the staff tighter, and suddenly he felt something surge inside him. It was the power of the staff, but it was also something else, something ancient, as if the power of the keepers had been waiting for this moment, waiting for him with a cry of defiance. Aaron swung the staff forward, and a burst of light shot from the tip, striking the creature with a force that shook the earth itself. The creature howled in pain, but it did not retreat. Instead, it advanced, growing larger, its red eyes glowing brighter. The darkness was fighting back, but Aaron did not relent with every strike. He felt more connected to the staff, more in tune with the power flowing through him. The creature recoiled as the light from the staff intensified, but it was not enough to defeat it. Aaron's mind raced. He remembered the dragon's words, the darkness is stirring. He understood now, this creature was only the beginning. The darkness was coming, and he was the only one who could stop it. But the creature was relentless, its claws slicing through the air toward him. Aaron braced himself, his staff glowing brighter, and with one final cry he thrust the staff forward, directing all his newfound power into the creature. There was a blinding flash of light, and then silence when the light faded. The creature was gone, but Aaron was not unscathed. He felt drained, as if the battle had taken something vital from him. He collapsed to his knees, his hands shaking. The staff's glow dimmed, but it remained in his grip, faithful and powerful. The dragon circled above, its fiery eyes watching, and it spoke again. You have done well, Keeper, but this battle was only a taste of what is to come. Aaron stood, his body sore but resolute. His journey was far from over, and the darkness was just beginning to stir. But in that moment he knew something, and he wasn't alone. The dragon's presence was with him, the staff's power was his, and no matter what came next, he would fight. For he was no longer the miner who had been mocked. He was the keeper of the staff, and he would face whatever came for him. The air was thick with the scent of smoke and ash. The once vibrant valley was now a shadow of its former self. The great cracks in the earth still bled energy, pulsing with an unnatural glow. Aaron stood near the edge of the cavern, his heart racing, his hand still gripping the staff as if it were the only thing keeping him from falling into the abyss of uncertainty. Behind him, the dragon hovered in silence, its massive wings beating slowly. The flames of its eyes flickered in the dim light, illuminating the darkened landscape with an eerie glow. There was an unspoken tension between them, an invisible thread connecting Aaron to the ancient creature, one that Aaron didn't fully understand, but felt deep within his chest. Aaron turned to face the dragon, his voice hoarse. What is this place? Why am I here? The dragon's fiery gaze softened, and for a moment it looked almost sorrowful. You are here, Keeper, because this is where the first battle between the Keepers and the darkness began. The dragon's voice rumbled like distant thunder. "It is where we fell, and where you must rise again." Aaron's brow furrowed. "But why me? Why did the staff choose me?" The dragon's eyes grew distant, and for a moment, Aaron thought it was lost in its own memories. The keepers were once many, chosen from the greatest of warriors and scholars, bound by the power of the staffs to protect the ancient bond between the dragons and humanity. The dragon explained. "But in time we became complacent, and the darkness grew stronger, hidden in the void, until one by one the keepers disappeared and the bond was broken. The staffs were scattered across the galaxy, waiting for the right soul to reawaken their power." Aaron swallowed hard, the weight of the dragon's words sinking in. The keepers had failed, he thought, and now it was his turn to face the darkness. Alone, he glanced down at the staff in his hands, its surface glowing softly in the dim light. How could I possibly live up to what the keepers once were? "You are not alone," the dragon's voice cut through his thoughts. "I am here as I was before, and I will guide you as best I can. But you must understand the path ahead will not be easy. The darkness is already stirring, and with it the Drakkar Empire is growing stronger. They seek to harness the power of the staff, to destroy the bond forever." Aaron's mind raced with the enormity of the task ahead, but something else burned within him now. A flicker of determination. "What must I do?" he asked, his voice steadier than he felt. The dragon's gaze turned toward the distant horizon. "You must seek the lost cities of the keepers. Find the remaining staffs and unite them before the Drakkar Empire does. Each staff holds a piece of the power that once protected us all. Together they will give you the strength you need to stop the darkness." Aaron felt a shiver run down his spine. Lost cities. The thought seemed impossible, but he knew the dragon was right. The darkness is coming, and I'm the only one who can stop it. "How do I find these cities?" Aaron asked. The dragon's wings shifted as it descended lower, coming closer to Aaron. "The path will not be easy," it repeated, "but you are not as alone as you think. The staff will guide you, and you will find allies along the way. People who remember what we once had." As the dragon spoke, something strange happened. A warmth spread through Aaron's chest, a flicker of heat that was not entirely from the dragon's fiery presence. The warmth spread outward through his arms, into the staff, and suddenly he felt it. A bond between him and the dragon, deeper than anything he had ever known. It was not just a weapon he carried. It was a part of him now. Without thinking, Aaron reached out. Touching the dragon's scales, he expected the heat to burn him, but instead there was a soft warmth, the feeling of the dragon's power flowing into him. "You are connected to the ancient power now," the dragon said. "Through this bond, you will learn to control the power of the staff, and the power of the dragon itself." Aaron's heart pounded in his chest. The dragon's power. Would it really flow through him? Could he truly wield such strength? "But how can I trust this power?" Aaron asked, pulling his hand away from the dragon's scales. "I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a warrior. I'm just—" "You are the keeper," the dragon interrupted. "That is enough." A sudden shift in the air caught Aaron's attention. The ground beneath him trembled again, but this time it wasn't the natural vibrations of the earth. It was something far darker. The dragon growled low in its throat, its eyes narrowing. "The darkness approaches," it warned, "and the Empire is not far behind." The air turned cold, and Aaron felt a deep, bone-chilling presence creeping toward them. He turned quickly, his heart racing, but saw nothing, only the shadows stretching unnaturally long. "We are not alone," the dragon murmured, its eyes flickering with fire. "They have come." Aaron gripped the staff tighter, the familiar power humming beneath his fingertips, but this time it felt different, more alive, more dangerous. Suddenly, from the shadows, a figure emerged, cloaked in dark robes, their face hidden beneath a hood. Their steps were soundless, but the weight of their presence was undeniable. Aaron's heart skipped a beat, and the dragon growled in warning. "Do not trust them, Keeper. This is one of them." The figure stepped forward, raising their hands as if in peace. "You are the Keeper, are you not?" The figure's voice was smooth but cold. "The one who has awakened the power of the staff. We have much to discuss." Aaron felt the hairs on the back of his neck rise. This was no ordinary traveler. This was no ally. "Who are you?" Aaron demanded, his voice steady, but the fear in his chest was undeniable. The figure's lips curled into a faint smile. "I am an old friend," they said, but not one you will remember. The shadowy figure in front of Aaron remained still, its hood casting a dark veil over its face. The air grew heavy, thick with an unnatural stillness. The dragon above rumbled low, a sound of warning. "Do not trust them, Keeper," it said, its voice sharp with concern. Aaron's heart raced as he faced the mysterious figure. The staff in his hands hummed with energy, responding to the danger that seemed to radiate from the stranger. The cold presence surrounding them felt suffocating, as if the air itself was being drained of warmth. "Who are you?" Aaron asked again, his voice more forceful, though uncertainty gnawed at his insides. "What do you want with me?" The figure stepped forward, its movements smooth and deliberate. "I am someone who has watched you, Keeper." "I have seen your awakening," the figure said, its voice soft but icy. "You are not as alone as you think. But be warned, the darkness that stirs is not just a force of nature, it is an empire, and it seeks to destroy you." Aaron's stomach churned at the words. The darkness was not just some distant, mythical threat, it was real, and it had an empire behind it, the Drakkar Empire. Aaron muttered, realizing the weight of what the figure had said. The figure nodded slowly. "Yes, they are the ones who will stop at nothing to see you fail. They have already felt the power of your staff. Their forces will be on their way, and they will not be merciful." Aaron gripped the staff tightly. "What do you want from me? If you're here to help, just tell me what to do." The figure's lips curled into a faint, almost pitying smile. "Help? You think I am here to offer you help? No, Keeper, I am here to warn you. You are walking a path that will lead to your downfall, but I can offer you something the dragon cannot. Power, control, the knowledge to defeat the Drakkar Empire before they even reach you." The dragon growled above them, its wings flaring in agitation. "Do not listen to their lies, Aaron. This is one of them, a servant of the darkness that seeks to corrupt your soul." Aaron felt the pressure in the air intensify, and his grip on the staff tightened. "How do you know what the darkness wants?" he asked, trying to focus, trying to make sense of the strange pull the figure had on his mind. The figure's eyes glowed faintly under the hood, a strange red light that seemed to pierce through the darkness. "Because I have seen it," the figure whispered. "I have felt it stir in the farthest reaches of the galaxy, pulling strings, manipulating worlds. The Drakkar Empire does not just seek to conquer, they seek to consume all life, every star, every planet, every soul, and they know you are their greatest threat." The dragon snarled from above. "They are liars, Aaron. They want to turn you against me, against the staff. Don't listen." The figure didn't move, but its voice remained calm. "You don't have to listen to the dragon. They have been hiding the truth from you, Keeper. The staff's power is limited, it is ancient, yes, but it has no place in the future of this galaxy, only in the past. You cannot win this battle with the staff alone. The dragon cannot protect you forever. You must change your path." Aaron's head spun, the tension in the air was unbearable. He could feel the pull of the staff, the power thrumming through it, almost like it was listening to the figure drawing him in. But then the dragon's voice broke through, loud and urgent. "The power in the staff is not just for fighting. It is for restoring balance. But you must stay true to your heart, Aaron. Don't let them twist you." The figure stepped closer, its voice growing softer, coaxing. "The darkness does not wish to destroy you. It seeks to transform you to make you more than just a man with a stick. It can offer you strength, control, and victory over your enemies. The Drakkar Empire cannot stand against you if you accept what I am offering." Aaron's mind whirled with the possibilities. What if the figure was right? What if the power of the staff wasn't enough to stop the Empire? The Drakkar Empire had fleets, armies, technology far beyond anything he could imagine. Maybe the figure was offering him the only real chance to win, to protect everyone he loved. But something deep inside him whispered doubt. Something the dragon had said echoed in his mind. "Don't trust them, Aaron." The dragon's voice was growing weaker, more desperate. "You have the power, but only if you stay true to the light. This is not just about power, Aaron, it's about sacrifice, hope, and fighting for the future, not just for your own gain." Aaron's thoughts clashed in his head, the pull of the darkness and the strength of the staff. The weight of the dragon's words, it was too much, too overwhelming then. In a sudden burst of clarity, Aaron made his decision. He raised the staff high above his head, the light from its carvings bursting forth in a brilliant beam. The force of the light pushed back against the figure, forcing them to take a step back. The power of the staff surged within a run, filling him with a sense of purpose, of righteousness. "I will not be swayed," Aaron said, his voice firm. "I will fight for what's right. And I will stop the darkness not by becoming part of it but by protecting the light." The figure snarled, stepping back into the shadows. "You have chosen poorly, Keeper. The darkness will come for you and it will be too late to turn back." With that, the figure melted into the darkness, disappearing without a trace, leaving only the sound of the dragon's wings beating above. Aaron stood in the eerie silence, his heart racing, but for the first time, he felt confident in his decision. The path ahead was uncertain, and the darkness was still out there, but he knew one thing. He would not face it alone. The dragon circled above, its voice calm now. "Well done, Keeper," it said. "You have passed your first test. But the Empire is already moving against us. The darkness is gathering. And the war is far from over." Aaron nodded, his grip on the staff steady. The journey ahead would be long and filled with dangers. But for the first time, he truly believed that he could win. The staff was more than just a weapon. It was a key to the future. And with the dragon by his side, he would fight until the very end. The air was heavy with the scent of burning dust. The sun had begun to set, casting an orange glow across the jagged cliffs of the valley. The distant hum of a ship's engines echoed in the air, and Aaron could feel the tension growing. The time had come. The dragon soared overhead, its massive wings cutting through the sky with effortless grace, its fiery eyes scanning the horizon, and its mind focused on what was coming. "They are close," the dragon's voice rumbled in Aaron's mind. "The Drakkar Empire is here, and they have come for us all." Aaron gripped the staff tightly. His mind racing, he had made his decision, had chosen to fight for the light, but now the darkness was here. Standing at his doorstep, the dragon had warned him, but nothing had prepared him for the true weight of what was about to happen. "What do we do now?" Aaron asked, his voice barely above a whisper. But the dragon's response was filled with both power and sorrow. "We fight, Keeper, and we do not back down." The ground shook as a fleet of Drakkar warships appeared over the horizon, their massive forms blocking out the sky, their weapons glowing ready to strike. Aaron's heart pounded as he realized the scale of the battle that was about to unfold. The Empire's ships were enormous, their black metal hulls glinting in the dying light of the twin suns. "Get ready," the dragon warned. "They will strike first. But we must be ready to meet them head-on. The staff can protect you, but it will only do so if you learn to wield it with true purpose." Aaron nodded, his breath shallow. The weight of the staff in his hand felt heavier than ever. He had trained for this moment in his mind, but now that it was here, he could feel the gravity of the situation pressing down on him. His body was trembling, not from fear, but from the overwhelming responsibility of it all. As the Drakkar warships began to descend, the sky crackled with energy. The dragon circled above, its massive wings causing the wind to whip and tear at the earth. Aaron raised the staff, its carvings glowing bright, and in that moment, he felt something surge within him, something deep, primal and powerful. It was the energy of the staff, but it was more than that. It was the dragon's power, a shared force between them. "Focus." The dragon's voice cut through his thoughts. "Let the staff guide you. Let it become part of you." With a deep breath, Aaron closed his eyes for a moment, letting the energy of the staff wash over him. He felt the ancient power surge through his body, felt the connection between him and the dragon strengthen. It was as though they were one being, both working toward the same goal. And in that unity he found strength. The Drakkar warships opened fire, their cannons sending waves of deadly plasma toward the ground. The air filled with the crackling sound of energy blasts. The earth shuddered as explosions lit up the valley. But Aaron didn't flinch. His focus was unwavering. He raised the staff high, and in a burst of brilliant light, a barrier of energy shot out from the staff, enveloping him and the dragon in a protective shield. The blast hit the shield with deafening force, but the energy didn't waver. The staff hummed with power as it absorbed the impact. "Now," the dragon roared, "strike them down, Keeper." Aaron extended the staff forward, and with a surge of willpower he thrust it toward the sky. The light from the staff intensified, piercing through the blasts of energy that had been fired upon them, and in a dazzling display of raw power, the shield shattered the incoming fire with a blinding flash. The warships above trembled and their weapons faltered. But the Drakkar Empire was not so easily defeated. As the first wave of ships began to retreat, Another fleet appeared from behind the mountains, massive war machines that seemed to stretch across the sky. They were larger, more advanced, and their weapons more devastating. "They are relentless," the dragon said, "but we are not without our own strength. The staff can do more than protect, it can destroy." Aaron hesitated, but the dragon's words fueled his resolve. He could feel the power of the staff building within him, an unstoppable force ready to be unleashed. With a deep breath, he thrust the staff forward once again, and this time, the air around him crackled with energy. The ground beneath his feet trembled as a beam of light shot from the staff, streaking through the sky like a comet. The beam slammed into the lead warship, and the ship's energy shield erupted with sparks. The ship shuddered violently as it tore apart in a brilliant explosion. But the Drakkar Empire wasn't done. The remaining ships retaliated with a barrage of fire, targeting Iran's position with precision. "You cannot stop them all." The mysterious voice from earlier echoed in Aaron's mind. "The Empire is too powerful." Aaron's eyes narrowed. He would not let these forces destroy everything he had come to protect. "Watch me." The staff's light flared even brighter, as if responding to his determination. In that moment, he understood. The staff wasn't just a weapon, it was a symbol of hope, of resistance, a beacon that stood against the darkness that had consumed so much of the galaxy. Aaron raised the staff again, his body shaking with exertion, but the power surged within him. He felt the connection to the dragon grow stronger, and he felt the energy of the staff coursing through him like a river of fire. He directed the staff downward, and with all the strength he had left, he released the full force of the energy stored within. The beam of light erupted from the staff in a massive explosion. The shock wave spread outward, obliterating everything in its path. The Drakkar warships in the immediate area were disintegrated in an instant, their shields unable to withstand the intensity of the blast. But the enemy ships continued to pour in, relentless. "You are not done, Keeper," the dragon's voice rumbled. "This is only the beginning. The battle is not won yet. But you have shown them that you are not to be underestimated." Aaron staggered back, the sheer power of the blast leaving him weak and exhausted. But he stood tall, knowing that the fight had only just begun. The Drakkar Empire would not back down easily, and the darkness was still out there, waiting. The valley was now a war zone, the air thick with smoke and the smell of burning metal. But Aaron's heart burned with determination. The staff, the dragon, and the bond they shared were his weapons, and he would fight until the very end. The skies above Alaris were a violent storm of warships and explosions. The Drakkar Empire had thrown everything they had at Iran, and yet the battle was far from over. The ground below was scarred by fire and shattered rock, a battlefield transformed into a graveyard for the Empire's most advanced machines. But the cost was high, and the air was thick with the smell of burning metal and smoke. Aaron stood at the heart of the valley, his staff glowing with an ethereal blue light. The energy from the staff still hummed in his hands, but it had become heavier. The power it held was a burden as much as it was a weapon. His clothes were torn, and his body ached from the strain of wielding such immense power. But he was still standing, still fighting. The dragon circled above, its immense wings casting a shadow over the battlefield. "You have done well, Keeper," the dragon's voice echoed in Aaron's mind. "But this is far from over. The true battle is about to begin." Aaron turned toward the dragon, his eyes narrowed with determination. "I won't let them win," he said, though his voice wavered with exhaustion. "You are not alone," the dragon replied, its voice now filled with an ancient power. "The darkness may seek to consume the light, but there are others who remember the old ways. You are the last of the keepers, but you carry their legacy." Aaron raised the staff high, the energy radiating outward like a beacon. He could feel the ancient power of the staff pulsing, its connection to the dragon, to everything that had come before. It was more than just a weapon. It was a symbol of resistance, hope, and the legacy of the keepers who had fought and died for the freedom of the galaxy. But as the energy from the staff surged within him, something else stirred, deep within the heart of the earth, a power long forgotten. The ground rumbled beneath Aaron's feet, and a wave of heat rolled through the valley. He turned toward the mountain, where the last remnants of the Drakkar fleet had gathered. A dark figure emerged from the smoke, their face obscured by a mask of black metal. The figure's voice was cold, cutting through the chaos. "So you are the Keeper, the one who thinks they can stop the Empire." Aaron narrowed his eyes. recognizing the tone of the figure's voice. It was the same voice he had heard before, back when the mysterious figure had offered him power. You were the one who tried to deceive me." The figure chuckled, their voice dripping with malice. "Deceive? No, I was offering you what you deserve. The Empire doesn't seek to destroy you, Aaron. It seeks to elevate you, but you are too weak to understand." Aaron gritted his teeth. "I will never join you. The staff is not a weapon for conquest, it is a weapon for protection. I will stop the Empire no matter the cost." The figure's expression twisted into a sneer. "Then you are more foolish than I thought. The Empire's power is unstoppable. Even your precious staff cannot change the outcome." Before Aaron could react, the figure raised their hand and a dark pulse of energy shot out, striking the ground at Aaron's feet. The earth beneath him cracked open, and the energy of the staff flickered. As if struggling against the overwhelming force of the darkness, the ground trembled, and Aaron felt the weight of the Empire's power closing in on him. His vision blurred, and for a moment, doubt crept into his mind. Could he truly defeat the Empire? Was the staff enough? But as the darkness pressed down on him, he remembered the dragon's words. "You are not alone." The dragon's voice roared in his mind. "Focus, Keeper. You carry the strength of the ancients within you. The darkness is strong, but so are you." Aaron's grip tightened on the staff, and with a primal yell, he thrust it into the earth, a surge of light exploding outward. The energy from the staff shattered the dark pulse, and for a moment the world stood still. The battlefield fell silent, and the only sound was the beating of Aaron's heart. The dark figure staggered back, their mask cracking. Revealing the face beneath, it was another keeper, one who had fallen to the darkness long ago. You are the last?" The figure muttered, their voice filled with disbelief. Aaron's breath was ragged, but he stood tall. "I am the last of the keepers, and I will protect this world, this galaxy, from the darkness you've unleashed." With one final, powerful thrust, Aaron unleashed the full force of the staff, a beam of light that pierced through the heart of the dark figure, the energy radiating outward, breaking through the clouds, striking the Drakkar warships above. The ships exploded in a cascade of fire and debris, their shields no match for the force of the staff's power. The battlefield erupted into chaos as the remaining Drakkar forces scrambled to retreat. But it was too late. The staff had shattered their grip on Alaris, and the darkness was no longer able to keep its hold. As the last of the ships fell from the sky, the valley fell silent once more. The air was still, and Aaron stood alone, his body exhausted, his mind reeling from the power he had just unleashed. But the war was not over. Not yet. The dragon landed beside him, its massive form casting a shadow over him. "You have done it, Keeper," the dragon said. "But the darkness is not truly gone. It will return, and you must be ready." Aaron nodded, his breath heavy but his resolve unwavering. "I will be ready." The valley, now a battlefield, was silent except for the wind, but Aaron knew this was just the beginning. The legacy of the Keepers lived on through him, and he would protect it with everything he had. For the staff, for the dragon, and for the future of the galaxy,